This view shows the constant physical scale of global sea transport. At any given moment, thousands of vessels move across the open ocean to keep the global economy supplied with raw materials and finished goods. Much of this traffic follows the liner model, a rigid, predictable system. Vessels travel in repeating route loops, connecting major coastal hubs on strict schedules, functioning much like a municipal bus network. If we look at tramp shipping, a different structure emerges. This is a dynamic web of point-to-point lines. Tramp ships hunt the open market for whichever port has cargo ready. This dockside photograph illustrates the origins of the tramp trade. These ships specialize in massive single commodity bulk loads like coal, ores, and grain, where a single commodity fills the hold to meet a specific industrial demand. Because tramp shipping operates outside the stability of fixed schedules, shipowners and cargo owners are exposed to the volatility of the open market. Managing this environment requires a negotiated legal framework for every voyage. That framework is the Charterparty. It is the contract of carriage that binds the shipowner to the merchant who owns the cargo. These legal mechanisms have deep historical roots. This document from 1794 explicitly outlines an agreement between a vessel's master and a cargo owner, defining the exact quantities to be carried and the freight to be paid. The primary function of the modern Charterparty is the strict distribution of operational control. It determines exactly which responsibilities fall to the shipowner and which belong to the charterer. Its secondary function is the allocation of financial risk. Moving a steel vessel across an ocean incurs high variable costs, from fluctuating fuel prices to delays caused by weather. The contract defines who pays when those variables change. The ocean is unpredictable. The Charterparty exists to define who absorbs the financial blow when that unpredictability strikes. We can plot these charterparties on a sliding scale, measuring the distribution of risk between the shipowner on the left and the charterer on the right. At the extreme right is the bareboat charter. Here, the shipowner hands over an empty vessel to the charterer. In this setup, the shipowner provides only the capital asset. Their financial obligation is limited to the capital costs of the ship and the hull and machinery insurance premiums. The charterer assumes full operational control. They hire the master and crew, pay wages, schedule maintenance, and absorb all commercial expenses. This specific structure requires a massive overhead. As we pan across this mobile oil tanker, we see the typical use case: large oil companies supplementing their fleets or financiers investing without operating. A bareboat charter functions as a financial lease rather than a transportation service, making the charterer the temporary owner of the vessel. The majority of global shipping utilizes non-demise charters. In these agreements, the shipowner retains the crew, the master, and the technical management of the vessel. The most common is the time charter. As the scale shifts to the center, the payment model changes. The charterer pays higher, a regular sum based on time. Acting as a disponent owner, they dictate routes and absorb voyage costs like fuel and port dues. The shipowner remains responsible for the technical readiness of the asset. They pay the crew, provide provisions, and handle all repairs and surveys. This division of labor relies on the off-hire clause. If the ship's machinery breaks down and the vessel cannot perform its duties, the daily hire payments pause until the ship can resume service. In a time charter, the charterer absorbs the commercial risk of finding cargo and weathering port delays, while the shipowner secures a predictable revenue stream, provided they keep the ship in working order. Moving to the voyage charter, the goal shifts to executing a specific point-to-point delivery. The risk profile reverses, sliding to the shipowner. Payment is calculated as freight, a rate paid purely per ton of cargo loaded, rather than for time used. Because the charterer only pays for the tonnage moved, the shipowner resumes responsibility for all direct voyage expenses, including bunkers, canal dues, and port charges. Since the payment is fixed per ton, the shipowner absorbs the financial blow of a slow transit. If sea conditions add 2 weeks to the journey, the shipowner burns extra fuel and loses time, but the freight payment remains the same. A voyage charter places the operational execution risk squarely on the shipowner. Their profit margin relies on their own navigational efficiency. Often, severe congestion at the destination port threatens a shipowner's margin more than the open ocean transit itself. As this photograph shows, inefficient cargo handling can stall a vessel for weeks. To manage this, operations are broken into strict milestones. Upon arrival, the master tenders a notice of readiness, proving the ship is legally prepared. This triggers laytime, a pre-negotiated countdown timer for the charterer to load cargo. Exceeding this window triggers demurrage, a daily penalty paid to the shipowner. Conversely, finishing early earns dispatch, a financial reward paid to the charterer for time saved. Laytime and demurrage act as a financial equalizer. They transform unpredictable port delays into a mathematical equation that protects the shipowner from indefinite losses. Placing the voyage and time charter side by side in this matrix makes the allocation of risk clear. The consideration model determines the baseline. Voyage charters are paid in freight per ton, requiring efficiency, while time charters are paid in hire per day, ensuring steady revenue. Voyage expenses dictate operational overhead. Owners pay for bunkers and ports in voyage charters, while charterers absorb them in time charters. Delay risk defines legal protections. Voyage charters utilize demurrage for port delays, while time charters rely on off-hire clauses during breakdowns. A shipping company's choice of contract is a calculated decision based on their appetite for market risk and operational control. Modern industries have blurred the lines between predictable liner schedules and demand-driven tramp shipping. To bridge this gap, industrial players utilize a contract of affreightment, or COA. This is a formal agreement to guarantee the movement of vast quantities of cargo over an extended period. To fulfill a COA, a ship owner will run multiple tramp ships on consecutive voyages between specific ports, effectively creating a private pseudo-liner network for a single client. This hybrid model allows global industries, like steel or energy production, to secure continuous raw materials without the need to manage their own fleets. While the ocean remains volatile, the legal architecture of the Charterparty allows global trade to engineer financial predictability and keep the wheels of industry turning.